Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Short Sale Power Hour. I'm Kevin Kopp, and this is Fred Weaver. This is Fred Weaver's iPhone. We're Group 4610. Again, that's the iPhone, and you're watching ShortSalePowerHour.com. Hey, today we want to talk to you about, well, I would call it some rather disturbing information, some rather disturbing news. I guess it's not news so much as it's really just information. It's in regards to TARP, and I know TARP is it seems like it's an old subject. It's a couple years old now. But just recently, in the last week or two, the government has let out some of these actual statistics and some of the actual numbers involved in the TARP program. And I think we all get generally disgusted when we hear about the hundreds of billions of dollars that were just given out and lent to banks. But in case you weren't disgusted enough, here's Fred Weaver with some stats on the TARP program to really send you over the top.
First of all, this is an article written by Bloomberg News back on August 23rd. I told Kevin at first we weren't going to talk about it, but the more I continued to talk with other people about this article,
and the more pissed off you got,
the more angry I got, and the more I realized people I was talking to were, wanted to know this information.
Yeah, so, well, it's good info in a way.
I don't know that any of us really grasp the true essence of really how bad the banking industry is right now. So I'm just going to share some statistics and some data with you that again comes from this Bloomberg article. The Fed lent $1.2 trillion during this whole economic crisis with the banks. Okay, that's the first thing I'd like you to hear. $669 billion in emergency loans from the Federal Reserve by 2008 were lent to banks. Okay, the loans dwarfed the $160 billion in public bailouts the top 10 got from the U.S. Treasury. So up until now, anyway, these amounts of who got what remained pretty top secret. But a lot of people out there, I don't know, it went on the legal. Well, it has become now because they pressed and they said the Information Act, requires that you tell us, and et cetera.
It turns out it's still the United States of America, and we have a right to know as the people of the United States.
Yep. So listen to some of these numbers. Morgan Stanley got as much as $107.3 billion. Citigroup took $99.5 billion, and B of A took $91.4 billion, according to data obtained through the Freedom of Information Act request, months of litigation, and an act of Congress, meaning that these numbers weren't even revealed until just recently. It took an act of Congress to agree that they had to share these numbers. Isn't that right there should tell you something, that they didn't want to tell you where the money went. They literally were trying to hide behind where they sent the money. If that doesn't just shout scary, I don't know what does. That's why I'm so glad to be part of Keller Williams Realty, an open book company. Our freaking government's not even open book.
Yeah, I mean, especially what really stuck out to me, and maybe you'll find those and share them, is the amounts of money that went to banks outside of the United States of America.
Thank you. You got to my next point.
I mean, so that is to me just disgusting.
Almost half of the Fed's top 30 borrowers, measured by the peak balances, were European firms. The Royal Bank, Edinburgh-based Royal Bank of Scotland, took $84.5 billion. We gave a Scotland bank $84.5 billion, the U.S. government did. And Zurich-based UBS got $77.2 billion. Now, those are big banks. Most of us have heard of those names. Get this one. Never heard of this company. This one disgusts me. Germany's Hypo Real Estate Holding borrowed $28.7 billion. So you're going, $28.7 billion, it almost doesn't sound like that much after I just gave you numbers in the 80s and 90s,
$28 billion? Yeah, that's a lot.
Catch this, though. The company only has, Germany's Hypo Real Estate only has 1,366 employees. That means they borrowed $21 million for each of their employees.
I wonder if
obviously the money didn't go to the employees, but
no, we don't know that. It's not even in our country.
You gotta be kidding me, though. Does that not just disgust you a little bit?
Yeah, I don't really know how this pertains to short sales today, other than the fact it's screwed up.
Well, but this is how it pertains: is that these banks are literally they're not afraid of anybody. That's why they kind of call the shots and they can do whatever they want, because they literally think they're too big to fail, and that's what's wrong with our country. And if you watched our Mindset Monday video from last week, we kind of went into that a little bit around diligence and just how we should let people fail rather than trying to fix the economy. But I mean, there's new rules out there that have been imposed and laws that were passed in the last few years when all this money was lent. Some of those rules mandate that banks keep enough cash and easily liquidated assets on hand to survive a 30-day crisis. However, those rules don't take effect until 2015.
That makes sense.
Another proposed requirement for lenders to keep stable funding for a 1-year horizon was postponed until at least 2018, after banks showed they'd have to raise as much as $6 trillion in new long-term debt to comply. So what does that tell you? The banks literally don't have enough assets on hand if things went south.
By definition, my guess is the vast majority of all banks would fail if they had to comply with the rules that are in place, like with the actual rules that they're supposed to be following. If they were actually following them, they wouldn't even exist. I mean, that should tell you something. Oh, and you're putting your, like, I need to get a bigger safe for my house. That's what that tells me. I'm going to buy a safe and a shovel.
It's gross. I mean,
I gotta go to Home Depot. I'm out. I gotta go buy a safe and a shovel.
There's more here, but anyway. As a real estate agent, I hope this shows you that the banks actually don't know how to run a business. So I hope that you actually go out and start running your business like a business and not just acting like everybody else around you, because that's the popular thing to do. Because popular equals bankruptcy if we were in any day and age that had any smarts. These guys would all be going out of business if we didn't bail them out.
Oscar Wilde said it himself. Everything popular is wrong.
Everything popular is wrong. Thank you, Oscar Wilde. Let's wrap it up. I don't know. I'm interested to see your comments today. If
maybe
you
you
guys
don't
care about this or you don't.
Like feeding European banks. I mean, maybe you care about that part. Maybe you care about how much money they gave to United States banks. I don't know. Maybe you don't care about any of it. I don't know.
Interested to see what you think. So comment below.
Maybe you also want to buy a safe and a shovel like me.
Let's wrap it up. Hey, real quick, Phoenix, Arizona area realtors, we're teaching a class right here live in Phoenix on Friday, September 30th. That's the end of this month. That's coming up in just a couple of weeks, and the ticket price keeps going up. So, like, buy your ticket already. It's going to be a great event.
Yeah, ticket price already went up a couple days ago after Labor Day.
Yep, so jump in, buy your ticket before it goes up one more time, and check out the calendar for some new October dates as well. We'll talk to you soon. We'll see you on Friday. 1, 2, 3. Short sale power hour! Short sale power hour! Crush it!